All right, well, this calls to order our Signal Mountain Town Council meeting for August 8th, 2022. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we'll have a moment of silence. Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Elizabeth Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Vicki Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Andrew Gardner is absent. Vice Mayor Susanna Murdock.
Here.
Mayor Charles Foss.
Here. All right, we have two sets of minutes for approval. I noticed that one of them, I think, is a little different from what we had agreed on.
Is this the page 4 from 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, yeah, it says in here that I made a motion to adopt an amendment to section 5-204, changing absence to the town manager to the acting town manager, when indeed my motion was to remove in his absence and replace it with in the absence of the town manager, and to replace mayor with acting town manager.
Yeah. That's what I recall. I don't know how we go about amending the minutes, or if we need to have a motion to approve with amendments, perhaps?
I'm wondering if we can just send them back and have them fixed, and we can.
Okay. All right, why don't we have the minutes for the meeting on July 11th changed to reflect that change. So it's on page 4, we changed section 5-402 to take out in his absence and replace it with in the absence of the town manager, and then to take out the mayor and replace it with the acting town manager. So that means that the town manager would approve, and then if the town manager is not there, the acting town manager or the recorder would approve. That was the only thing I saw. Does anybody have any other things that they want to talk about with July 11th? Okay. Well, we'll not approve those. What about the next one, July 25th?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes. Now we have the citizens' opportunity to address the council. Is there anyone here who would like to address the town council? All right, come on up. Welcome.
Hi, thanks. My name is Grace Minot. I live at 1458 Palisades Road. Thank you very much for providing opportunity to address you guys. I guess I would like to preface my questions just by saying that it's not my objective to point out any shortcomings or deficiencies of the town. This is actually to learn about the outreach of TDOT and to share with the town any pertinent information so that the community can participate in its fullest potential. So it's basically kind of information sharing and information gathering. So this question is actually for everybody in this room. So please raise your hand up high if you have heard about the TDOT public informational meeting scheduled for August 25th at the Signal Mountain High School. Okay, great. Just good to know. There is going to be a TDOT public informational meeting at the high school, August 25th, 5 to 7 p.m. The reason I guess I'm coming to you guys now is that I found out on Friday that TDOT will put a posting in the Times Free Press August 14th and August 21st. I kind of think that's a little tight in time to the meeting itself. To get kind of good attendance for you guys to schedule, hopefully being there, for people just to be aware of it and to start thinking about questions or to just come prepared for it. So that's why I'm coming now, especially since your next meeting is the 22nd, I think it is, or is a few days before. Yeah, it's just a few days before that. So I kind of felt that was a little tighter to reach out to you. So I do have a printout of what TDOT now has on their website. So you can go to the upcoming events. So this is just something I felt that I needed to bring today. This is kind of a reminder for you to take a look at it when you get home.
Thank you.
But TDOT finally posted this on their website on Friday after I reached out to them to inquire why it wasn't posted on their website. So it's just something that is going to kind of bring back to awareness what's happening with the larger Improve Act project. So that is the project that's going to be happening with SR8, the highway coming up the mountain. And the last meeting was in 2019, so it's been 3 years since that has kind of been shared with the public. A lot has changed since then, and any concerns, any questions, this is the best time to voice that to TDOT. They are currently in their right-of-way phase. So what that means is that TDOT has 4 phases: the planning and development, preliminary design, right-of-way, and then construction. So if you're curious about kind of how this plays into actually getting machines and traffic and things like that start happening, it's about 3 to 5 years from that to be happening. But this is kind of the last opportunity for the town in regards to any sort of maintenance and sort of public works, curiosities, questions about the proposed changes, as well as any sort of residential concerns that may play into that. So, I think that is kind of the main point. Before it was just to kind of see who was informed of it at this point in the game and to see if TDOT had reached out to anybody. The only person that I'm aware of that really knows about it is the Signal Mountain High School. I did call them on Friday just to confirm that they were aware of it. But I learned about this meeting 3 weeks ago, so I felt I had given TDOT enough time to kind of do some due diligence of at least posting on their website, and then maybe there's a chance to reach out to the municipalities that would be most impacted, i.e. the town of Signal Mountain, as well as the city of Chattanooga. So, yeah. Do you have any questions or?
Thank you.
No? Okay.
Thank you so
Thanks for letting us know. Does anyone else wish to address the town council? Okay. Next item on the agenda is reinstatement of the temporary beer permit. So the town council is acting as the beer board, right? We have another ongoing beer permit for Moose Smith.
I make a motion to approve and waive the fee.
All right. Anyone second that?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. All right. Now we have some resolutions. The first is a resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into agreement for water leak bill relief service with Water Leak Relief LLC and their address to provide service agreements to each individual utility customer for the purposes of paying unexpected high water bills that result from leaks.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a question, Matt, if you don't mind.
I have a couple as well.
There too.
I was looking at the contract, and one thing that seemed awfully harsh was that you had to fix the problem in 10 days from discovery. And I'm not sure anybody could get somebody to come out and look at it in 10 days sometimes. So that seems awfully harsh. Is there a way for us to change that or provide some relief from that?
Ben, would you like to step up?
I'm Ben Wixon with Water Leak Relief, and so what we ask in that is truly that they just eliminate the water getting to that leak, so that if you have, example, main water line break, if they don't get the water shut off to that in 10 days, we're talking about tens of thousands of gallons. So if they can just get the water shut off and be working with us, we have waived that 10 days many times. I've personally been the one that had to call and say, guys, we're gonna work with you, just shut the water off so that we're not seeing it just run all over your yard and paying for that. So we do understand, we're from Crossville, we work with lots of rural communities, and it is tough to find a plumber sometimes. So we are open to working with that. We just asked for the 10 days to give them the incentive to get that water stopped.
Yeah, that sounds good, but it's still a contract, and it says 10 days. So, you know, it doesn't really, you know, if you move on, you're not here, and the next person in line says, yeah, we have a contract, you didn't get it fixed in 10 days, we're not paying for it. Because it's a bottom line business sometimes, maybe not all the time. So if there's a contract that says that, somebody might enforce that, and that's harsh. I'd like to have some softening of that in writing in the contract. Is that possible?
So we can add language. We've actually had this discussion several times with several different communities. We cannot waive the 10 days in the contract, but we can add some language that does deliver what I've said as far as being able to eliminate or cut off the water to the leak so that we're not just having water running constantly. If the water can be cut off, they work with us, we will give them some lenience on the time.
And I know in looking at other proposals that was similar wording from other organizations. I'm looking to see if I can find it, but it's not unique to their contract either. They all have stipulations on the time frame.
Yeah, I understand. I think the most important, like you said, the most important thing is to cut the water off so that there's no continuing leak. And then people who cut their water off want to get it fixed, obviously, because they want their water back on. So I think there's incentive with everybody. Why don't we see if we, at least from my perspective, if you could show us that additional language that can be added. There is an integration clause in the contract, so we can't just say, you know, this is what we're going to do. It has to be actually in writing in the contract. We can have Harry take a look at it and see, you know, with the eye toward what I've mentioned, and see what we can do about that. So does anybody else have any other concerns or questions?
Not on the technical side of the contract, more for Matt. Do you have some type of education program plan to go out on this so that ratepayers understand what this is and allows them to make the best decision for themselves?
I do, and Water Leak Relief is generous enough to share some of their mailings. I've discussed with Ben the process as far as how we can reach out to all the customers, educate them through mailers. We'll obviously do online postings through Facebook, through the town website on the water page. I've suggested we post at town hall and other facilities, probably the library, anywhere we could get word out to educate what's going on, and also you know, what it'll look like on their bill, and the opt-out policy if they wish to decline it. So Ben has shared some of that with me. If you like, I can share it with you to pass around.
And our goal with that, we want to make the the 800 number easily accessible for everyone, so they can call us with general questions. We don't want your staff bombarded with those questions. We have people sitting there in Crossville, in my office, ready to answer the questions.
All right. Thank
And
you.
so it's an opt-out, not an opt-in,
It's an
correct?
opt-out, yes.
That was my question.
We will
Opt-in.
automatically opt in everyone. If they wish to opt out, then we will need that in writing, because they will need to be aware that if they opt out, then they are opting out of leak relief altogether.
So like the way that we do it now, where if you have a leak, there's a reduction in the bill, that's no longer gonna happen.
That will go away.
And what is the time frame for the education and actually implementing and the opt-out time frame? What do you have in mind?
I believe 90 days?
So we make sure that mailer goes out at least 90 days before they would see it. And that's the biggest delay in the process is, you know, we may want it to start tomorrow, but we want to get everyone educated. So we give them mailers, give them time to call us, discuss it, have questions before they see it on the bill. And so really, the timeline starts when the mailers go out. Give me a hypothetical scenario here of November 1st. I will get mailers out before October. That way they've got 30 days after they've seen the mailer. We offer 60 days of additional time after they've seen it on the bill that we would refund that premium.
So after that time is up, can they opt out later and just not get a refund? So they can opt out at any point?
Yes.
And then my other question is about how often, so if there's a water leak and the residents don't know until you tell it, how often does that happen and how quick do you guys catch it?
So typically, what catches it is the bill.
Okay.
Customers receive that bill. If we see an abnormally high reading, we'll obviously double check it and usually reach out to the customers to let them know, hey, you're going to see a bill that's going to be a shock to you. It looks like you have a leak on your property. So we typically catch those as long as they are higher bills. We're not going to catch small leaks that don't produce that abnormal bill, but we do catch those.
And how often is it over 200%?
How often is it
How
over?
often is it over 200% of the bill?
Well, typically those are the ones we hear about. We don't hear about the $20 or $30. It's the $1,500 bills that we hear about. So
Okay.
Most of the ones that do cross my desk, I would say 99% of the calls we get are over 200% of the water bill.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'd like to look at, have you, get this language, have Harry look at it before we approve this. But I don't want to delay. I don't want to have you wait too long. So I guess we could do the resolution to enter into a contract, but not necessarily the one that's attached. Or we could have it come up at our next meeting as a special meeting before our work session. Anybody have any suggestions?
Harry, what do you think?
I don't think passing a resolution to enter into a contract that we don't have, excuse me, is a good idea.
Let's-
So do we
let's-
need a motion to table? No? Okay.
No need to take any action.
Okay.
And if we get something to look at, you all can schedule a special meeting prior to the next work session.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the sooner we can look at that, the sooner we can get this done, because I think we want to do it as soon as possible.
Don't forget how much this will benefit our customers. It expands the coverage. It gives them twice as many claims per year. I mean, currently it's one annually. This will give them two. It also allows them to opt into water line protection, where they can basically get insurance for a separate fee, insurance for their water lines as well as sewer lines. So it really opens the door up for a lot of benefits. With our topography up here, service lines can be pretty sketchy locations, whether they're running through the woods or lots of rock. So a lot of customers would be shocked at the cost that they would be facing in replacing a water line. Water leak relief offers additional coverage for water line replacement as well. So this also, like I said, covers leaks that we currently don't cover in our policy now, as far as leaks in crawl spaces, hidden leaks inside the house. So it's going to be a benefit to both the water utility and the customer. I really do believe that this will be positively taken in by our customers.
All right.
Great.
All right,
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
work on that. All right, let me get to the next resolution. All right, the next resolution is a, can y'all hear me okay? I'll move this around in the back. Y'all can hear me? Okay, good. A resolution authorizing the town manager to purchase portable digital radios and accessories, Tennessee State Contract Number 21424, from Motorola Solutions Incorporated for the amount of $22,663.65 to be used by the fire department for the town of Signal Mountain.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? Okay. All right, the next resolution is a resolution authorizing the town manager to purchase tablets and accessories from Mobile Demand for the amount of $37,440 to be used by the police department for the town of Signal Mountain.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, do we have any discussion on
I have a
this?
question that could be a dumb one, so,
No
I'm
dumb
good at
questions.
those.
No
Oh,
such
yeah,
thing.
I'm good at that. So, on the resolution, it says 37.4, and on the estimate, it's 40,000. So, is there, how am I missing that? Am I seeing it wrong?
No, so the quote was for 14.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
We only need 13.
got it.
And the company has agreed to the prices quoted here. They have since gone up, but in good faith, they have agreed to keep these costs here, to keep the costs down.
Okay,
So we'll just minus the cost of one of the tablets and the protection equipment from the total of what was quoted on this purchase here.
okay. Thanks.
So,
Thank you.
so they said they would keep those current prices for us.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Next is a resolution authorizing a contract extension with Big Woody's Tree Service LLC of Appleton, Tennessee for brush chipping services in the amount of $15,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any questions?
So we just did one of these not that long ago, which I think was maybe for last budget year, and then this is an extension of that.
This is the contract extension.
So
We did
it's
this
just for
with
this year,
Yes.
basically. Okay, thank you.
It goes through June 30th, 2023. All right, any other questions? All right. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? Okay. The next resolution is a resolution authorizing the town manager to purchase one John Deere cab tractor with a Tiger Boom mower from Ag Pro IN, Cleveland, Tennessee, or Ag Pro in Cleveland, Tennessee, through Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative Contract Number 66032 for an amount not to exceed $169,495.43 to be used by the Public Works Department for the town of Signal Mountain.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we've had a lot of talk about this item. Any other discussion needed? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? All right, that passes. Next is a resolution to suspend the function of the MAC board and appointment of any members to said board until such time as a resolution is passed to rescind this action.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. So this is really kind of a different from the last one where the last one we had it come up in a year in the resolution, I think. And this one doesn't have it come up again, which is okay as long as we remember to bring it up to talk about it at some point in time. So I know that Elizabeth had a meeting, which I think was a good meeting with Cheryl and Dick Graham. And so I think we're all on the same page, moving in the right direction. And hopefully, we can come to a kind of a final resolution on the MAC board at some point soon. Why don't we, I don't know, do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second on this?
Yep.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking maybe in 6 months' time, we just make a note to talk about it at a work session and to see where we stand on this, and if we have an idea then of what we want to do. Anybody have any other ideas?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so we have this motion to suspend the function of the MAC board and second on that motion. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. So we'll talk about it again in a work session in about 6 months. Okay, the next resolution is a resolution authorizing the town manager to purchase an ordinance review and revision from Municipal Technical Advisory Service for the amount of $7,300. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. We talked about this at our work session. Anybody have any other comments or questions? All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? All right, the next resolution is a resolution adopting a social media use and internet posting policy for the town of Signal Mountain and its employees. That has been revised. Elaine sent us an email with the revisions highlighted in yellow. Has everybody had a chance to review that and see what the changes were?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for the work on this, and to Sam for your help on this as well. Does anybody have any other comments or things to talk about in terms of more changes? All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Anything else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right. The next resolution is a resolution appointing Elaine Brunel as the designated representative for the town of Signal Mountain on the Chattanooga-Hamilton County, North Georgia Transportation Planning Organization Executive Board.
Motion to approve. You have a question?
I was going to make a motion to table until after work session discussion.
Okay. We don't have a second on the motion to approve.
Not yet.
Procedurally, we have a motion but no second, and a motion to table but no second.
Well, we need to act, since there's not a second for the first motion, I think it fails for lack of a second. So it's now gone, and we now have another motion to table.
All right, so we need a second for that. I'll go ahead and second that so we can talk about it. All right, so I think Elizabeth is currently our representative for the TPO. I think this is something you want to table for a particular reason?
I I want to do a little bit of research on it first.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I understand like this came up on here because there isn't a current resolution appointing anybody, but I thought that there was.
Okay.
And so I kind of wanted just to do a little digging to see where we're at on that.
All right.
Additionally, when it comes to the TPO, there should be, like, the primary person is secondary as well. And so I think, like, as we appoint, whether on the primary or the secondary, and Elaine is the opposite of that, I think that we should do it all in one
Okay.
day so that we're very specific. But it's just gonna, yeah, if we can just table it to the work session.
That's fine. I think right now it's being covered, right? So
Yeah.
One of you is going to the meetings, whoever it is.
Yes.
So we can continue that process as it currently is, and we can talk about this at the next work session, or do you want?
The next work session should be fine.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to table and a second. All in favor?
May I get clarification on something? Are you tabling it to a specific time?
Okay.
Or-
If we're going to
and
table.
I'm not suggesting you should.
No. No, but if we table to the work session, that's not something we're going to be voting on, it's only for discussion. So I don't think that we could table it to the work session because there wouldn't be a vote.
I think if you're going to set a time that it's going to be considered, you need a motion to defer to that day.
Okay, so when you say considered, is that voted on
That's,
or is it discussed?
that's up to you all.
That's murky.
Well, we have a motion to table and a second, so,
Okay,
but
well,
it's
if
an
the motion-
unspecified time.
If a motion to table passes, then this resolution is simply set aside and somebody can bring it up at any time with a motion to remove it from the table and be heard.
Okay.
So you can do it that way.
Okay, let's do it that way.
That's good.
All right. All right, so procedurally, we'll talk about it at our next work session, and then somebody will just say, let's bring this back onto the table, or off the table, whatever it is,
Yeah.
for our next meeting.
Something.
On or off the table.
Remove it from the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right, so given that scenario, do you have any other discussion or comments, questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right. So we'll talk about this at the next work session, and then somebody will remember to remove this from the table. The next item is a resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into a contract for life insurance for employees of the town of Signal Mountain with One America Insurance Company for life insurance and short-term and long-term disability insurance. And
I had a couple of questions. Do we currently offer long-term disability?
No.
How does this impact the budget?
Well, with, had a couple of quotes. One was with Standard, who we're currently with. They do offer long and short-term disability. However, with a bundle discount, with staying with them, it would only be a 9% bundle discount. With a total overall cost would be $37,720, which is over $7,000 more than what we're paying right now for just standard life insurance. But with the quote that we got with One America is actually a better package. We get a better bulk discount for packaging life insurance with disability insurance. We get a package discount of 29.6%, which overall would be total $31,879, which is about $1,200 more than what we're paying right now. And to include offering the voluntary short-term disability insurance, but 100% long-term disability insurance that would be payable over a 2-year period. So that's where we would pay the 100% of the long-term disability insurance, that benefit for an overall total of $1,200 more a year.
$1,200?
$1,200 more a year. cost to the town and not that impactful to the budget.
I do know that this is an issue with some town employees. I think that the lack of disability insurance is an issue for the town. I think it's a good move.
Sounds like a great
Yeah.
benefit, so I would say motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? In terms of impacting the budget, it's obviously, well, do you know what we budgeted for this, for life insurance? I mean, do we have any cushion in the budget to go up $1,200 or not?
We do, and it, with it just being $1,200 and what we're currently paying, $30,610, but we budgeted a little bit more for this fiscal year, so we have that bit of room in there to allow for a $1,200 increase into life insurance.
Okay.
Well, there-
Include disability.
So, back in the, you cushioned for this in the budget.
Will there be any penalty to changing?
No.
Okay.
And so,
I
not
just,
very many insurance companies will quote us for disability for our police and fire because of their first responders. So our company that we're with does, and this new company that's out there does, but the new company offers some additional benefits that we don't see, we will not see if we stay with our current one. That is, excuse me, where the voluntary short-term disability buy-in, they can buy in up to $150,000 of insurance, whereas right now it would only be $50,000 employee guarantee issue. So there's no cap or one-time buy-in with the insurance company. With this new company, they allow employees to buy up on a more continual basis. Sorry, I'm a little froggy and I don't know why.
Allergies.
It is really bad.
Yeah, you're sitting right next to
It
it.
is.
I'm sure it is.
Um,
Elizabeth, I sense you have some questions.
well, it's just, there isn't a lot of information.
Yeah.
And while I'm certainly not against this and I can see the benefit of it, I can't even read the 3 pages that we were given. And if this was something that was budgeted for, I'm a little bit concerned that we're hearing about this today when we're being asked to vote on it.
It's not that we budgeted for that specifically. We budgeted for an increase in the insurance rate, which is fairly standard.
And that's
based
great,
on
but,
previous years. That's the budget that we're.
okay, and that was different than,
Right, so thank you, Jennifer, for clarifying.
and I appreciate that. But again, like,
You can see it on the electronic copy.
yeah, mine, I couldn't see it on mine there either. But, I mean, I'll go with council.
Is there a deadline for us to respond? I mean, if we needed to push this to where, our next meeting, 2 weeks, August 22nd, is that going to cause any problems?
No, I don't think so. We have got the marketing results that we've received about the insurance. I think we have some wiggle room on that as far as a couple weeks. So if we need to have some more discussion, whatever you may need, but
Is
we
our,
need to call just a special before the working session, or do you want to just talk about it at the working session? I just feel like we
I think
should move forward.
yeah. Is there a, okay, the effective day is September 1st, so if this came up on August 22nd in a special meeting to vote on it, then we'd still have some time to implement it before the effective date, and before the current policy, I assume, runs out. I guess that runs out September.
And just
First.
also, employee education and transfer, new benefit package, signing up for it. We've got some some things that we would like to do to help with that transition, and awareness and education, filling out the documentation for each individual employee, showing what their benefit is, and so that way it just makes it that much smoother of a transition.
Given the timeline, I think I would support moving forward with it because of that. I know that it will be pushing it to get the information out, to give our employees time to look at it and think about it and decide if they want to do it or if they don't want to do it, and ask questions. So I'm concerned if we wait, that it will be challenging for, I know our employees can move fast, but I would like to give them time to think about it and decide. And also, I'd like to see this happen sooner rather than later, because I know that it's something that we really need for our employees. It's a service that I feel like is a great thing to provide.
All right. Well, I'm comfortable with that too. We've got it. We've budgeted for insurance with a little cushion that would cover the 1,200, and this we've got one item with a quote without the insurance from our current provider, and then comparable quotes with the same insurance, adding the short and long-term disability. And this is just a little bit more than the insurance without short and long-term disability, and a lot cheaper than the same company that we're with. So I'm okay moving forward, but I respect Elizabeth's.
We're good.
opinions as well. All right.
Continue on.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm happy to move forward. We've got a motion, so we can go ahead and vote unless there's any other comments or questions. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I abstain because I don't feel like I have enough information to make a clear decision.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have 3 in favor and 1 abstention. I think that the motion passes. The next, that is it for the resolutions. So we're now to the ordinances. And this is the one that we talked about in our minutes, where section 5-402 is going to need to be changed. So
And I had a question. Can we change that language in a second reading through a motion? Because this is a second reading and it's still, the language still isn't right. So can we change it in a motion again and pass it on the second reading?
Well, the motion that was, the motion that was passed on first reading, the ordinance had the correct language, right?
No, I changed
The
it.
minutes don't reflect that.
But
I think the first reading had the old language and then the motion to approve it was to approve it as amended. But the amendment language wasn't implemented the way that it was discussed at the meeting.
Well, you cannot change the language at second reading if it amounts to a substantial or material change. And I don't think this would qualify as substantial or material. So I think it can be approved on the second reading.
okay. Do I need to make the motion with the language change in it again, since it's not reflected in this document?
I think to clarify, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance with the amended language so that 5-402 reads, all purchases involving expenditures of $5,000 through $14,999.99 must be approved in advance by the town manager, or in the absence of the town manager, the acting town manager, or the town recorder. And then to continue with the last sentence as written.
Okay.
So that's my motion.
Second.
Okay. So with that, and the advice of our attorney, any other questions, comments? All right, well, we have a motion and a second, and we have, I guess, a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, are there any discussion? There says no discussion items. We can get to that in other business. Manager's report.
Okay, so the state of the town is coming along, presented. And just update IT position, we will close on Friday, and I plan on having interviews the 16th and 17th, and the 22nd and 23rd. I have a lot of good candidates, I believe, to look through, so I'm enlisting the help of some other IT tech savvy people to ensure that some of that language, we're getting the right people, the right person for the right job.
That's great.
I plan on listing the HR specialist position on the 29th of August, and I'm working with Betsy Cunningham with MTS, our HR consultant there, to help with the screening and the interviews. So again, I'm enlisting some good quality experience help to get the right person in the job. Both Katie and I are coming up for our second CMFO training class next week. Jennifer is working on hers as well. We've received one application thus far for the Planning Commission. We've done 2 website demos, and I think they've both been very good. One really stands out, and all the department heads were in both of those demos. And I think we got the thumbs up for one of them that was really professional looking and brings our town website into today's needs and requirements for online bill pay and scheduling and so on and so forth. And since our working session, I've also had 2 audiovisual meetings to get some updated quotes for the audiovisual in here.
What would be the next step on the website demos now that you've kind of...
I'm just waiting for an updated quote from this last one that I had. They're putting it all together, and I should hope to have it by the end of next week. The end of this week, sorry. Let's go together.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Now we have other business, communications and reports from the mayor and council. Does anyone have any items to report on?
I don't.
Okay. Reports from department heads?
Yes.
That's new. Oh, we got the reports from the department heads that you gave to us.
So I guess you guys have the charts that I provided. Again, I would like to point out that it is preliminary, pre-audit, so don't hold me to those numbers. They might change a little bit based on some adjusting entries that will probably happen at the end of the year, which is a fairly common thing. As of right now, with my unaudited numbers, the general fund revenues are just over $8.5 million. As you can see, the large majority of that are property taxes, 69%. And the next largest thing are our state shared taxes and grants that we receive, alcohol tax, beer tax, things like that we get from the state, sports betting tax, the street tax, all those fun taxes. And then everything else is, pretty small in comparison. Did anybody have any questions about that part? Awesome. Expenditures, again, unaudited, just under $8.5 million. So that's good that expenditures were less than revenue. As you can see, I just broke it down by department. I'm not going to read all those for you. And I will point out that for fiscal year 21-22, that we issued 2,655 checks. entered 121 purchase orders, receipted 5,706 miscellaneous and property tax receipts. Now, I feel like I felt at least half of those. And we had 26 payrolls, of course, with an average of about 75 employees per payroll. So,
Thank you for that, David.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next. Thank you, by the way, for the equipment resolution, passing that earlier. Fire department, we've done this report for several years. We break it down by incident type through the month. Explosions, if you wonder, we had an explosion. Well, those are usually transformers that blow up. We get a few of those a month up here. But anyway, it goes, fire, rescue, EMS. Last month was 96 total incidents. If you look at our year, we don't put it on there, we're going to start putting our year total on there. Compared to 2020, we're up about 15% on calls and up about 10% from last year on calls for year to date. If you look over our training hours, we break it down by category. Last month was 771 hours of training. That's department-wide in all these different areas. We usually do somewhere between 10 and 12,000 hours of training a year total with the whole department. EMS calls are broken down quite a bit by type of call. Yeah. So if you need to know exactly what we're going on, that's the number of EMS calls and the types of calls that we go on. One thing we're going to be adding next month that we haven't put in here is we're going to put our community risk reduction, what we do out in the community, all the contacts we have with the community on there, which is several hundred hours a month that we're out in the community doing several different things, smoke detector installs, child safety seat checks, community events like last weekend at Pruitt's, even down to the birthday party drive-bys that we do, that we get a lot of requests for. But anyway, we'll be adding that after the report. Building codes. You don't normally see these, but this is a annual, to date, month to date report of number of new homes for the month, total permits for the month, types of permits broken down, and then an annual. If you look at the bottom line, the annual, so the project cost is in millions, so that's like every time we do a permit, the project cost. Total fees is what we collect in fee cost, actually collect, and then on down how many permits. So if we look at 2019 as a year, so 2019 as a total year, we only had $17 million in total building project costs. We're almost there already, halfway through the year. 2020 was $11 million. We're already past where we were in 2020. 2021 was $16 million, so we're almost there already. So this is going to be another record year. In permit fees, 2019 we collected 71,753. 2020 was 52,558. That's year total. 2021 was 68,730 year total. And this year we're already $82,311 for permit fees collected. So it's going to be another big year. The two inspectors we have are busy. One thing I want them to start doing is, it's hard to keep track of actual numbers of inspections because they go from one to another to another to another all day long. But if you take a new home's anywhere between 22 and 25 inspections from the time it starts till the time it ends. And they're just busy all day, but I'm going to have them, they aren't very happy, but I'm going to have them start keeping track of that. Another one that wasn't on here is facilities. In the last month, there's an RFP out for our janitorial services for all the town facilities. I'm getting ready to release one for the HVAC replacement at the library. We finished the office painting, everything here at Town Hall, and they've completed the painting of the exterior of the buildings at 611 Timberlinks. Those are done. The neighbors ought to be very happy because they look like brand new. They also repainted the recreation department's concession stand restroom building, and then tore all the rotten wood out of the restrooms and redid all that with hardy boards. So that project's done now. So we'll move on to the next one.
All right, thank you. Hi there.
To get you up to date, here are some stats from the library. We've had 155 new members since June the 1st. This is amazing to us. We don't know where they're coming from, but we're so happy to have them. We have the value of our collection of 31,988 items as of July the 31st was $638,132.71. The average circulation for May, June, and July of 2022 was 5,300 items a month. And that's kind of normal for our summer, but it's so much more than we had last year and the year before. That's great. As of Friday, we had sold 607 books in just the first week of our August half-price sale in the Book Nook. So if you haven't been, you better come. We got lots of books. And J&J Construction, who built our addition, has fixed the standing water problem on our patio. So it really finally works after poor Vicki had to vacuum water up there. We're finally having programs again, have several lined up for the fall, and are researching others for the coming months. Any ideas you have for programs, they'd be greatly appreciated. And we're also happy to announce that Toddler Storytime will resume on October the 4th. So if you know of anybody that has toddlers, please tell them that we'd love for them to come. And now about the elevator. I'll probably tell you more than you want to know, but it's still not working after malfunctioning on June the 6th when Assistant Librarian John Atkinson was stuck in it until the firefighters came to extract him. The elevator company, Kone, has said that their repairman was unable to fix the elevator because the computer board had been fried by a power surge. And as far as all of us at the library and the firefighters are concerned, we never experienced a power surge or even an electrical storm that night when the elevator stopped on June the 6th. They are asking us to pay either $8,836 to have the elevator repaired or $4,859 plus signing a service contract with Kone. They've also sent us a bill for $2,641.49 for the repairman who was there less than 3 hours and didn't fix anything. Sam Guin and I have both spoken to the Kone rep. When I asked the rep why a surge protector did not protect the elevator's computer board, he said that I hadn't purchased a surge protector. And I told him I'd not ever been offered the opportunity to do this, but certainly would have done so if it were presented to us. And the reason I didn't buy the service agreement was because I'd been told by them that the elevator was under a warranty for the first year. It is my opinion that the computer board for the elevator was defective, but I don't have any way to prove that. I've spoken with town attorney Harry Cash, who's written the elevator company, but he hasn't heard from them. And I have written to and spoken twice with David Lynn of J&J Construction, who was the project manager for our addition, about this matter. And since it was his company who chose Kone, I called him again today, and he said that he had not heard from them, but he would call them. And I've written to Jessica Stack of Tinker Ma, the architects of the addition, letting her know about the state of the elevator. We are determined that Kone should fix the elevator at no cost to us, but it is distressing that we have patrons who need the elevator to access our lower level and who gave us money to buy the elevator, but it's still not our fault. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
So obviously for us, we're in the dog days of summer, so we don't have a ton to mention other than day-to-day maintenance that we're taking care of. Our guys are out mowing, weed eating, taking care of our programs that are going on right now. We've got softball, baseball, adult softball that is wrapping up tomorrow night. And then we'll roll into our fall sports. Biggest thing for us, obviously, is the pool. If you guys look, we've had our health inspection report. This is our second one, but the one in July, we had 100 score in the concession stand, 96 in the main pool, 98 in the waiting pool. And then also we added, one thing I forgot to add on our revenue that we brought in so far, $81,000 in pool passes, $16,000 in concession stands, $15,000 through the gate. I forgot to add pool parties and swim lessons. That was about another 10. So I thought last year coming out of the pandemic, which was a record year, but this year's going to beat last year by a long shot. So we're trucking along. Everything's going good.
thank you.
Yeah.
My staff met today with the town manager and had a very productive conversation, and she was very open to listening, and I think all the folks were very open and appreciative for the opportunity to just talk to her and see where her long-term plans are, and just meet her in general. I think it went exceptionally well. I had one officer resign last week. It puts me 2 short. On the other side, I have 2 offers have been accepted on new officers that will be coming. Probably it's going to be October before we can get them in here. One's moving from Maryland, and the other one unfortunately hurt her shoulder the week that she applied and got accepted. So as soon as she gets out of physical therapy, we'll be taking her on board. Both of them are certified officers. They've already been through the academy. And so we won't have to send them through an academy, just an FTO program. And the one fellow from Maryland is working for NSA right now, and he'll only have to go through like a 3-week refresher course this state, and he'll be ready to go. So we're looking forward to that. Very hopeful on both of those folks. Very promising. I guess one thing, you guys get the monthly report, and I know a lot of your phone calls and complaints are about traffic and speeding and stuff, so I'll hit some high spots on that and let you ask questions if you have any specifics. Our traffic stops year to date are up 496 from last year. We've been running a lot of the state traffic grant money overtime, and the guys have been out here running a considerable amount of radar. Interestingly, the number one citation that they issue is expired tags. One good thing, a good sign is our speeding our citations are down because they're slowing down. Even with the increase in the traffic stops, the speed violations are down. So I guess they're being effective across the board. We still get some complaints, but they're out there and they're making the stops. And I guess this next one would be light law. In other words, having a headlight or a tail light or a turn signal out. The next one would be hands-free, driving with their phone, which is extremely dangerous. And everything else is pretty much status quo except for those 3 increases. As far as offenses, as far as reports of specific crimes, our number one thing is domestic violence, domestic assault. It's up 8 this year over last year. DUIs are up 7 over last year. Harassment, which can be anything from complaining about the neighbor's dog or somebody sending them text messages they don't like. It's just kind of a catch-all. And it is a misdemeanor. It's not a felony offense, but burglary of vehicles are up 10 over last year. They're all over at Rainbow Lake parking area. That can change drastically. You know, a few years ago we had one guy that hit 200 cars over a 2-week period. We caught him, got most of the stuff back. It runs in spurts. Sometimes they'll come up here from downtown, go through a subdivision, they'll hit 30 cars in a night that are all unlocked. And some of them, they get change out of them. Some people will leave a purse or a laptop or something like that. We have not had one of those yet this year. There's just one, usually one at a time over at Rainbow Lake. And we're working there, and also at Signal Point, we're working with the Federal Park Service. We got some electronic measures that we're trying to use over there that I'd rather not go into to give it that away, but I think it'll help in the long run of identifying those suspects. Another good thing that shows me my officers are working on second and third shift is the open doors that the officers find after the businesses are closed are up by 29, so they're really out here checking their businesses at night. Also the churches are kind of the worst offenders because they'll check and the church is left wide open. Not exclusively, but some of them are businesses as well. And we have a tag that we put on there. It's a courtesy tag to let them know that the officers checked. If we can't get in touch with the responsible to come lock it, to let them know that this door was unlocked and unsecured during the night. So other than if you have any questions specifically, that's the high points of the month, year to date.
I saw that expired tag thing, and I thought maybe people just don't like the new license plate. They just want to keep their old one.
I like my new license plate.
I like it too, but
it kind of goes hand
weird.
in hand. A lot of these are also new folks to the area because a lot of the warning citations are for driving on a tag that you got 30 days to change your license and your tags. And they don't generally write citations for that. They issue them on warning. And a lot of times people didn't know they had a specific limit of time. So I think that goes hand in hand with the tags some too. But
yeah.
Just guessing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Good to see you all again.
Yeah.
July, you know, it's hot. It's typically a good month for water sales. We did see uptick in water pumping. We pumped over 27 million gallons of water for the month of July. Had a max daily pumpage of over 1 million and an average daily pump of almost 900,000 gallons. Worked several work orders, had new services. For the first time since I've started, I was really excited to not only do my first new service, but we had 3 more follow. So we did a total of 4 new services, which in our area is exciting because we don't see a lot of growth. So 4 was good for us. We did do shutoffs. We did 90-day shutoffs of folks that were 90 days or more past due. Of those, I believe we had all but 8 pay and have been restored. So it was good to catch up on that. We are planning to follow up this week with our 60-day shutoff list. So there'll be more shutoff notices coming. We did unfortunately have a significant water leak during the month of July on Dunsinane Avenue. Did result in some damage to the road. If there's a silver lining to that, it damaged a previously patched portion. And it will also allow us, as we come in and do the repairs, to add a fire hydrant that was much needed. There's not a fire hydrant on that block of Dunsinane, as well as an additional street valve. So we'll be able to isolate and hopefully in the future, if there are other issues, we won't affect the entire street. So anytime we can add fire hydrants for fire protection, that's great for our customers. It benefits them on their insurance portion, as well as just in general life-saving aid. So we're excited to at least be able to add that for our customers, even though it comes at the cost of a main repair. A couple highlights I'd like to point out. We did welcome a new employee at our skilled labor position. I'd like to welcome Mike Mooneyhan. He has been exceptional in the short time he's been here, well received by the other employees as well as his direct foreman. We're excited to have him, and for the first time since I started, we're fully staffed. So I'm extremely excited about that. One of the things that we knocked out that was looming over me was the lead and copper compliance testing. We've got 20 samples that are required. That is done every 3 years. So we were up on our 3rd year. We got 18 of the 20 collected in the month of July, all sent off. All had great numbers, almost no detectable lead or copper. And I can say today we sent off the 20th, so we have wrapped up the testing portion of our lead and copper sampling. A big project that we're all aware of is the Palisades Road project. We are kicking that off this month. Had several meetings with both our engineering firm and our contractor, as well as meeting on site a couple times with TDOT and other utilities involved, so that we can do our pre-construction meetings and walkthroughs. We actually have pipe on site, we have equipment on site, and every day it seems like the project gets a little more steam. I think we just wrapped up our street cut permit, so I expect sometime this week to start seeing equipment moving around and dirt getting moved down there. Along with that, we did our monthly compliance sampling. All sampling was completed and sent to TDEC. And as I mentioned earlier, we are planning to follow up with the remainder of our non-payment work orders.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Well done.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And then I'll just briefly speak to Public Works. Loretta is out ill, so she was not able to make it. So for street department, they've been doing a lot of asphalt work, sinkhole repairs, pothole repairs, and they are making their way through town, painting crosswalks and putting up new signage and bringing attention to the crosswalks. Mainly over here on Taft Highway, those have been well received throughout the town. I've gotten a lot of compliments on those. Sanitation, they've been doing a lot of continued brush pickup. They've collected 170.20 tons collected at the transfer station, which is quite a bit from July 1st to 15th. The Recycle Center, we had a total of 3,791 visitors to the Recycle Center. And there have been training that has been completed, the open records training, most of the staff members have gone to. That was provided by the comptroller. This was a big success. We had 23 people in attendance, and to include 3 people from Walden and 1 from MTS. And then stormwater, they're working on updating the TDEC annual report. They're working on the Cunningham Road clean out and various other projects to include Mississippi Ave, Ohio Ave, and Arden Way.
All right, thank you. That does it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For the departments.
All right. Well, thanks for putting that together. Do we have any reports from committees or boards? All right. The next meeting is August 22nd. The tentative agenda is here, and we are adjourned.